What is up, guys? It's your boy Ron Mechanic here, and with me again I have my good friend Austin from Team VTR. So today, guys, like I promised, this will be, now that all the VRs have been revealed, this is now going to be me and his discussion, as well as our rating of each VR.
I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm excited about one VR in particular.
Yeah, but we're going to first start off, we're going to do it in order of their reveals. Gancelot's going to be the first one, but he's going to be really quick since we did a full video discussing him. I will link it in the description down below if you want to see that video alone. So first off, we're going to start with Gancelot. If you don't remember his skill is Vanguard continuous. With Blaster Blade on a Vanguard or Rearguard circle, they gain 10,000 power. The second skill is
a drive check.
And second skill is if Blaster Blade's on the front row, it counts as a Vanguard circle, meaning he gets a drive check. And all skills included. For me, I give this card a 4 out of 5. Only because it helps, but it really is going to still depend on who's playing the deck.
I'd actually have to agree with you on that one. 4 out of 5, it's a very solid card. In fact, our cameraman Darian over there is very much hyped for this card.
My avatar returns.
But like, the only issues I see of this are all premium related, and while I may not be too active of a premium player, I at least have enough knowledge to know that it's not as good in premium as some people like to think it is, but in standard it is just beautiful. Spicy, very spicy.
Well, so since we both give it a 4 out of 5, it gets a 4 out of 5. Right now it puts it at number 1 slot out of the 5. Let's get into number 2. Goddess of the Full Moon, Tsukiyomi. Take it away.
Alright, so her skill is once per turn, you can counterblast 1 and discard a card. Choose up to 3 Tsukuyomi cards from your soul, draw that many cards, and if you drew 3, you check the top 5 and put 2 cards from among them in the top of your deck in any order, and the rest on the bottom. And second skill is if you reveal 2 or more triggers during your drive check, 3 of your front row gets plus 10k. So what we're looking at here is trigger stacking on steroids, and an obvious fan favorite card returning. My only real grievance with the card is the lack of background cards. I understand it makes sense for like the theme of the card, but still, I would have liked a little more background art. Other than that, the card is solid. I give it a 4.5 out of 10 because in premium it is also nuts.
What did we do? 10.
You mean 5? 4 or 5 out of 5?
Well, out of 5. I'm sorry. No.
I honestly have to disagree. I give it a perfect score because it does what it's planned supposed to do. The stacking was already there in the beginning, but now it counts technically as a third drive check in a clan that already draws and stacks enough and sets up its own game. And then if you add the fact that the grade 2 and 1 search for themselves, the grade 1 searches for the 2 in a way that's a lot better.
You reduce the 1 hits you, so
that's just amazing. The relation is amazing. Now, do I wish Godhawk Ikibiyoshi had Tsukiyomi in the name to make these effects a little more consistent? Yeah, but based on the other support we've seen so far, you're going to be able to add that last Tsukiyomi in the soul, no matter what the grade is.
Yes, well, again, going back to my rating. My rating was 4.5 because it still requires a little bit of setup, as opposed to just being able to take off like a couple of the other VRs in this set. True. So that's my only actual reason for giving it a 4.5 out of 5.
All right. Well then, 4.5, 4.5 takes it. That's the average. So now it's number 1, with number 2 being Gancelot. On to number 3 is the one and only Platina Azel. This boy is some craziness. Can we tell you that? Alright, so his Vanguard skill and only skill, this is beautiful. Counterblast activate, act skill. Counterblast 1. Change the turn's first drive check to look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, reveal 1 card from among them in your trigger zone, and call 1 card from among them to the rearguard circle. If your soul has 2 or more grade 3 cards, change the second drive check of the turn or more and more as well.
Where do we begin with this card?
Step by step.
First of all, Platinum Ezel turns your drive check into a regular Gold Paladin skill of checking the top 2 cards, but it also mitigates one of Gold Paladin's biggest problems of what happens when you get a trigger when you check those cards. I mean, naturally, your first thing would be to put it on the bottom, but now your drive check goes, okay, I look at top 2. Let's say one's a crit and one's one is a Hoel. We'll just give an example. Hoel there. You put the crit on the trigger zone, which means it activates. Then you call the Hoel. Now, because this is a skill, you would resolve this. You would resolve this simultaneously. So you can call the Hoel and then decide to activate the trigger, or you can activate the trigger and then call the Hoel. In case your opponent is running some weird, if they have X amount of power, they can't do a thing. I don't know. Vanguard doesn't have that yet, but I'm not going to be surprised if Mega Colony gets something like
I
that.
mostly see it as that way people don't confuse when you get a draw trigger.
Oh yeah, that's also true. Because if you draw a card, then
Yeah.
what do you think?
I like how it works because not only does it fix the problem, but Platina actually is more consistent to get off than people want to actually give current credit for. It has Wonder Ezel, which has can superior ride an Ezel. You're more likely going to superior ride the original Ezel, which then means most decks are going to still keep running the triple Ezels. So you're going to still run base Ezel. You're going to run Ezel's Ravenhair Ezel. You're going to then run Platinum. So you're going to guarantee the base Ezel because of Wonder Ezel. Then more often than not, you're going to do the superior ride into Ravenhair. And then, oh wait, next turn, on my actual grade 3 ride, I go Platinum. That's best case scenario. I'm not saying it's always going to happen, but best case scenario, you're always going to get to look at both drive checks. And then let's not forget the craziness in premium.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Because in premium, you get to use this skill with a triple drive. Oh, I have 2 in soul on the next one. Yes, you do. Because it doesn't say the card, it says your turn.
Yes, but that's an activate on Vanguard Circle.
Yes.
So you would.
Spear Cross X activates during main phase.
You know what? Yeah, I forgot. You're right. I forgot Spear X was a Sea Breeze.
Yes.
Whew.
And then just imagine that. You make sure you're at your best ride. And then you do it. And then you laugh. Because your opponent can't do anything about this. Because every drive check actually gives you something.
But yeah, so all in all, I once again would have to give Ezel a 4.5 out of 5. Only because with the for the same reason I gave Tsukuyomi a 4.5, it still requires a bit of setup to get everything off. Granted, it is still an amazing VR. In fact, I would go to say that I would actually even go so far as to say it's a 4.6 out of 5. But in general, I'd say it's a 4.5 around a 4.5 or 4.6 out of 5.
I would give it a 4.5 as well. Even though the support and what the card does is beautiful, you do need to at least have a grade 3 in soul to go off. Now the deck doesn't have that problem, but you really still need to worry about the 3 in soul before anything goes off. And due to that, it has to sort of drop. Now, if it could go off immediately, that'd be no problem. But at least they kind of controlled it by saying you have to wait a turn. But, yeah, so another 4.5. Man, Ganselot's getting shot down really quick. I thought he was going to be the best card of the set. So right now, for battle for slot 1 is going to be, it's Tsukuyomi and,
Platinum Ezel.
And Platinum Ezel for first place. Second place right now is going to Ganselot. Now on to the third card, which is actually going to be for Nubatama.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's coming over me.
And his name is Shura Stealth Dragon
Jamyo Congo.
Skill. Vanguard Auto. When placed and at the end of each turn, your opponent chooses 6 cards from his or her hand and discards the rest from the hand. If your soul has a grade 3, he or she chooses 4 cards instead of 6. Alright, I hate this card already, but let's go into why. First off, This card by itself is actually quite dangerous against decks that have really big hand advantage early games. Sorry, OTT, this card's actually your kryptonite because this forces you to choose 6 cards. OTT clans can get to about 12 cards, and we're going to make you get rid of 12. So, not saying they're not going to keep their protect markers, but you having to get rid of 6 cards or more, having to get rid of any card after 6 is really good.
So on my end, the card's extremely solid. Mostly because at its core, the card can leave your opponent with 6 cards in hand, which in general is a decent amount. That's usually what most decks have. But the icing on the cake is if it's your second grade 3 ride, you make that 4 cards. Now, the reason why I say it's super solid is because of a support card that they got. It's a grade 2 that says when it's a grade 2 that says when you attack with it, after you pay the cost, you force your opponent to use 2 or more cards to guard it. And that with a promo that prevents your opponent from using Sentinels, you're essentially,
begging for it?
You're essentially begging for that new Batama. Word I can't say because we're on YouTube and I don't want to get Leroy here demonetized.
Not there yet anyway, so.
I'm still not going to say it. Anyway, I would actually give the card a 4.9 out of 5. The only reason, once again, is the fact that it needs to be your to make the best use out of it. It needs to be your second grade 3 ride. But in a format where your first grade 3 ride will usually determine the game,
I would honestly, this is the one I'm actually going to really argue with and not let you change my mind. I give it a full 5. Because how his effect works, it triggers on the on-ride place and the end of turn. So in one turn where your opponent could have hit draw triggers during their damage steps, this says, oh, you hit the draw trigger? Okay. I did hit your hand one way, so you went down, but you still stayed above 6. Cool. End of turn. You went back down to 6. I already cut what you could do to me for the next turn. And he could keep doing this. It just gets worse once you rewrite. It's not a setup. It's more of a, I'm just putting more icing on the cake. The setup would be it needed a 3 and soul to start. That's why I give it a perfect 5. Because it starts where it's supposed to be, and then just more gets added on.
You know what? Yeah, I'll give you that. We'll give it a solid 5.
Because -6 is still pretty big, even though a lot of decks will stay under 6, but that means I have to use cards to stay under 6. If I can't stay under 6, I'm done.
Right. Now for the final VR, I'm going to take this away because it's the one I'm most hyped for.
But before that, let's do a quick recap, guys. So now as the number 1 slot, we have Jamio Congo in the third place slot right now, arguing for their fair slot, is Tsukuyomi and Platina Ezel. And then in 4th place, as of right now, it goes to Cancelot. Let's see how this last slot turns out.
Okay, so fair warning, there will be a lot of hype-based bias on my end here.
That's why I'm here.
But our final card is Eradicator Gauntlet Buster Dragon, card that I'm extremely hyped for as a Narukami main. Its skill first is continuous on Vanguard Circle during your turn. He gets plus 5k and critical +1 for each open rearguard circle in your opponent's front row. This is huge because against Force and Protect, you're almost guaranteed a base 22 and 3 damage. Against Axel, forget about it. Its second skill, and this is where it really shines. For Counterblast 1 and discard a card, you bind your opponent's entire front row. This includes Axel circles for those Gold Paladin and Great Nature matchups, or Nova matchups.
Any Excel deck matchup.
Then you may move the back row to the front row. The key word there being may. So if you want to go for the quick damage, if your opponent's running low on cards, then just leave them in the back row. If your opponent has a lot of cards in hand, or you're just trying to get rid of their board because they have an annoying board, blasters. You get rid of it. That's all it is, and it's not once per turn. So you can just counterblast 2, discard 2, guarantee a full field play.
That back Vanguard booster.
Yeah, but Narukami now has cards to make sure to move that booster to the front row.
True.
Honestly, I would, again, this is, I'm going to let go of my bias here for a second and still give the card a 5. Because that pressure against Force Cleanse, the only real downside to it is the Protect matchup. But that's just because, you know, they can keep getting those PGs and those Protect markers to keep PGing it. Where, however, this is an XL clan, you let your rear guards do the talking. Why'd I say Azure? Gauntlet Buster's there to bait out the PG. Lyra?
I honestly have to give this card a 3.5.
Well, why so low?
And here's why I'm giving it a 3.5. Up to now, all the cards we've been introduced to, we've got all the VRs in this set haven't had a downside that's so detrimental. You have Ganslot, just needs Blaster Blades to be in the front row to do fun stuff. You have Tsukiyomi, she just needs to have three in soul to do her full skill. But even without that, she can still do it with only 2 cards in soul. You can even use Jeremy Okongo to use his skill at any point. Platinum can do his skill at any point. Yes, Gauntlet Buster can do his skill at any point, but the thing is, the other guys don't put a huge burden on their deck. This card doesn't even restand. Now, I'm not saying restanding is important. I'm not even saying guard restrict is important. But for a card as strong as it is, it has more flaws that push it down. You have to counterblast and discard. You have to counterblast and discard just to make the skill work. And you have to, if you want to kill your opponent's board, you got to do this 2 to 3 times. The start for that part alone, that hurts. Because an Excel clan does not want to keep losing hand. And yes, the Excel 2 exists, but even with Excel 2, your guys aren't still hitting for the right number anymore.
Well, Narukami also was given a new grade 2 in this set. Well, sorry, no, a new grade 1 in this set, where when you discard it, you Soul Blast and draw to help kind of mitigate the cost on that. In addition to that, Zuitan, another new grade 2 that was revealed, pumps up him and all Gauntlet Busters on your field by 5k for every card that gets bound during your turn.
Yeah, but it's just him and Gauntlet Buster.
Yeah.
And Gauntlet Buster still dies to a PG, but even with a PG, that's still not a high enough. That's still not a high enough power ceiling for him to where a PG is the only thing necessary to use. That's put in comparison. I play Royals, guys. So look at MLB. He's restricted by having to be 6 different blasters on board, which to me still, I hate that the restriction's what it is. But then he goes ahead, and when he does trigger, he's not swinging for something you can just easily drop hand to. He's not an easy, I can just drop my hand to guard this. I need a PG, because a drive check can still kill me. A double drive definitely kills me.
It has to be normal, so not a factor.
Gauntlet Buster is nothing more than a Gust Blaster with Phantom Blaster's full board wipe.
We'll swing 11 to Madhouse.
And you want to damage starve me? Okay. But you killed yourself for that because now I gotta wipe your board clean. Now I gotta punch you harder. I'm gonna make sure Zuitan dies every turn, so you have to keep restructuring him. And yes, he goes into soul at the end of turn, but that means you have to guarantee having a Zuitan every turn on your board to guarantee you're gonna actually hit hard enough to bug.
There's also Chut of a restance.
True, but still.
Margin.
And there's also the fact that that Narukami already has access to really nice power cards like Stinger, Phoenix, Demolition Dragon.
Yeah.
So
A lot of those guys will be hit to be played because of the stuff coming from this.
Because they're all in play.
Because a lot of the cards in this set are more boosting this than the older cards would help. Phoenix is going to be a guaranteed staple because as long as you can bind, you're good.
yeah, well, this is Gauntlet Buster, whose main thing is binding. So.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we'll probably just have to agree to disagree and probably meet at a middle point there.
Yeah, so give it a 4.
Yeah.
So pretty much he's tying with cancel on.
Yeah.
So the Dragons and the Knights didn't get a real good, but the Ninjas, the Monarchs, and the...
Oh, we'll have to say the Nubatama one's the best one.
Yeah, we gotta give it to Noobs. They got it.
Best clan.
But to be fair, all the decks are pretty much on equal playing field. This is just rating the card itself, really, not just the deck. The deck, I feel, is going to be actually one of the stronger ones because it's going to be. It can definitely deal with Bermuda.
Oh yeah.
Narukami will definitely put a dent in Bermuda. So will Nubatama, Narukami. You have just become the enemy of Bermuda Triangle. And that's going to be fun because you guys don't target.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once again, Austin, thanks for joining me for this table talk for this set. It's been fun. I will have a deck profile for you guys on Gancelot. I might have Austin come back with his Narukami build if he's willing.
Yeah, well, you'll probably have to see that on my channel first.
Yep.
So of course, there's always going to be the matchups because definitely when we finish those decks, we will have a matchup.
Oh, guaranteed there is going to be a matchup, guys. But so once again, thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want to do, and if you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you always stay up to date. And please head over to my boy Team VTR's channel down in the description below. Later.